So I wanted to start with why CREST? Why should you run CREST Awards with your students? And our kind of tagline for CREST Awards is turning curiosity into achievement. We very much want to harness the curiosity that young people have and celebrate their dedication and their commitment to their work with a CREST Award. So over 50,000 young people receive a CREST Award each year. CREST is a low-cost, flexible and trusted project work-based framework that can be accessed by all. It provides hundreds of open-source practical activities housed in our CREST resource library, which you can access for free. The activities are curriculum linked, and your current practical activities that you do run could also be used to gain CREST Awards. It can help develop young people's employability skills and can help achieve the Gatsby benchmarks. And for a bit of context, schools and employers have been using CREST for nearly 40 years, so it is a well-established programme. In terms of general benefits for young people, we have evidence that improves determination and resilience. It can help development of growth mindset and creativity. It can help young people take responsibility and make decisions. It can help develop their broader STEM-related skills. It can increase interest in pursuing STEM subjects. And it can illustrate that they are good at skills that are used in the STEM sector, therefore negating perceptions that you need to be naturally gifted rather than hardworking to be successful in STEM careers. And hopefully it can help them enjoy not just science, but the other STEM subjects as well. In terms of the benefits for those young people, as well as those skills to receiving a CREST Award, it is well respected by universities and employers. It can help enhance CVs and UCAS personal statements. It can illustrate those employability skills, for example, research and data analysis, communication and teamwork. It can demonstrate additional effort, commitment and interest in subject areas. It can provide interesting discussion points for interviews and can promote benefits to the wider school and community by involving parents. At the end of a CREST Award, your young people can receive a certificate, which can help celebrate their achievements. It can help boost their confidence and raise their aspirations. For example, if they do one award level, they might be encouraged and feel inspired to do the next award level. It can help raise the profile of STEM across your school. As I said, it can help involve parents and carers. You could invite them to events where perhaps you hand out the certificates. And I wanted to put a quote in here from a teacher around the fact that actually some of her young people that she teaches don't have role models. And what what CREST Awards can do can actually help those young people become those role models themselves and see themselves as a person who can do STEM. Here we have another quote from a teacher. It gave me a bit of an attitude shift. For example, it's not all about key terms and phrases, but also about standing back and letting them figure stuff out for themselves and even fail if it's instructive to do so. So we see that CREST Awards are very much about kind of building resilience and grit and confidence in young people to explore the things that they are curious about. So those are the reasons why we think you should do CREST. I'll do a few slides on what CREST actually is. So for some of you, you might be new to the CREST Awards. I wanted to start by highlighting some of the real CREST project questions that our young people have asked. So in our resource library, we have a suite of activities that you can choose and run, but also you can encourage your young people to investigate things that they find interesting themselves. And all of these project titles are real project titles that young people have researched and done a CREST Award project on. My particular favourite is the to eat or not to eat, the 5-second rule. I'm sure there are lots of young people who have heard that phrase, and I just love the idea that a young person went, hang on, is this even real? I want to find out about it. And they've gone away and designed a project themselves to help answer that question. So here's a little breakdown. I was interested, as I said, who our audience is. I can see at the moment we've got primarily secondary school teachers, but just to give you a bit of context, we offer 6 award levels from age 3 up to 19. Our age guidelines are just that, they're a guideline. You don't have to do them in the age that we suggest. It's very much about choosing the award level that is right for your learners. So for example, if you have some young people who are working at a different level than their age, then it's fine to do the award level that suits their abilities rather than their age. So we have 6 award levels. 3 of them span primary, that is our Star, Superstar and Discovery Award. Our Discovery Award actually spans secondary and primary, and I'll come on to that later. It's quite a nice one if you're doing transition activities. And our secondary levels include bronze, silver and gold. But as I said, if you work in a setting where your young people are working at a different age than their ability, then you can choose an award level that suits them best. In terms of assessing the projects and awarding a CREST Award, it's worth pointing out that at Star, Superstar, Discovery and Bronze Award level, you as an educator would assess those projects and decide if your young people have achieved the CREST Award. For the higher award levels, the Silver and Gold, projects are submitted to us and we share them with our team of expert assessors, of whom Rebecca is one, and they assess those projects against our assessment criteria. Although we talk about CREST being a STEM resource, actually we want to show you that it is possible to submit CREST projects across a wide range of subject areas, and actually we encourage cross-curricular as well. We're looking really at the kind of skills and kind of the approach towards these subjects. So for your young people, if they want to do a CREST Award on any of these subjects, then we welcome them to apply. There are different ways that you can use CREST Awards. You could run it in your science lessons or your other subject lessons. You could run it in an after school or a lunch club, or even for a piece of homework. You could run it during British Science Week, which happens in March. You could have a drop-down collapsed curriculum day, like a STEM day, or you could have some young people running it themselves as an independent project. Obviously, it's up to you and your setting, depending on what resources you have, how much time you've got available, what staff you've got available. But CREST is designed to be flexible. So it's very much for you to decide where and when is the best place for you to run CREST. There are obviously advantages to running it in the curriculum or running it for an extracurricular project. And we've just wanted to pull out some highlights here about both those options. In terms of the process, obviously planning, you're all teachers or educators. The first step is to plan, to decide which activities you're going to run, when are you going to do them, and with what group. Once you've completed your projects and for the lower award levels assessed them, then you can apply to us on our application platform in order to get your certificates and at the end celebrate your students' achievements. On our website, we provide you with help centre articles to help you through each stage of this process. Our application platform, the web address is on here, and we can provide these slides after the event. On it, you will have a dashboard. If you haven't signed up before, you just need to register using the green button. You will see a dashboard that looks like this, and to start a new application, you just click on Programs. If you've applied before or you end up applying more than once for different programs, you can see all of your past awards on this tab. and you can also update any of your own personal details on this dashboard as well. So it's through this application platform that you will apply for your CREST Award certificates and for the higher award levels for the assessment for silver and gold awards. Okay, I'm going to give you a little breakdown into the secondary award levels. I'm quite pleased that I can see we've got, as I said, we've got kind of a few secondary teachers amongst us this afternoon, but I'm very happy if people want to pop specific questions about other award levels or lower award levels into the chat, and I can pick them up later. So our Discovery Award level, they are typically for students aged 10 to 14, so would span that upper primary and lower secondary. The suggested time frame for a Discovery Award is 5 hours. It can be completed in a single day, or it can be split into several sessions. And students are given a real-world scenario, and they work in teams to complete research, discuss potential solution, and present their outcomes to the whole group. You can choose an activity from our resource library, or you can use our framework to develop or adapt any of your own activities that you would like to run. You can recognise the achievement with a certificate, and the cost for a Discovery Award is £3 per student. We have, as well as our activity resources on our website, we also have a CREST Discovery Passport. This is designed to help students reflect on the work that they are doing. And by completing this passport, that is the evidence that you need to say that they have met the criteria and they can be awarded a Discovery Award. So these resources are available to download for free from our resource library. So we've got lots of resources on there. So this particular one, Machines of the Future, is one where you ask young people to imagine some resources or some machines that could help them do particular tasks in the future. So it's a really lovely one to really capture young people's imagination and help them design kind of things that could help improve their lives in the future. If you're going to run a CREST Discovery Day, there are various possible times that you could do it. Perhaps if you're looking for an activity for British Science Week or National Careers Week, which are very close together. I believe they're both in March. It's great for involving employers and STEM ambassadors. So you could invite them in to take part or to mentor or to move around your Discovery Day, and maybe even listen to the presentations and award the certificates at the end. You can use it to help involve employers to meet your Gatsby benchmarks. As I said, it's a good transition event to use with primary students if they're moving up to your secondary school. And you can do it as one activity and celebrate at the end with your certificate, because you can pre-order your Discovery Award certificates so you have them ready to hand out after your event. You can do it as a STEM day, so you could do it as one day and there are benefits in there, but you are also able to run it as 5 individual 1-hour sessions. And in the slides, we can provide a timetable for each of those options so that you could decide which one fits best with the programme that you are running. If you're looking for evidence to kind of take to your senior leadership team for why you should be able to do that, we do have an impact report that is linked to this presentation that you can download and you could send to them as evidence as to why this would be a beneficial activity for you to run with your students. So the Discovery Award is the kind of lower secondary award level. Then we move on to the Bronze Award. The typical age for this is 11+ students, and it requires a bit more time than the Discovery Award. We're looking for approximately 10 hours worth of work. For a Bronze Award, students are given a real-world scenario and they would work in teams or individually to complete research, analyse and reach conclusions, and they can present that in a form of their choice. We have a workbook like the Discovery Passports they can work through, but they can also produce a poster or a PowerPoint. Again, you can choose a project from our resource library, or you can adapt, use our framework to adapt any project that you are currently running and run that yourself. And again, to celebrate with a certificate, a bronze award is £6 per student. We have lots of bronze level resources. So we have activity ideas, we have special resources for students with SEND, and we have workbooks that the students can work through as well. Once you get to the higher award level, the silver and gold awards, silver is typically around Key Stage 4 level work, and gold award levels are typically around Key Stage 5 level work. Again, the age guides are just a guideline. We have a young person age 10 who has received a gold award. So if you have young people who are motivated and you think could work towards the higher award level, then please do encourage them to do that. You can see the difference in the 3 secondary award levels here, where our bronze award required 10 hours worth of work. Our silver, we'd expect at least 30 hours of work, and our gold, we'd like 70 hours of work. The assessment for a bronze would be done by an educator, but for silver and gold, it's submitted to us at CREST Awards, where we assign it to our team of expert professional assessors. And we match them with their subject so that the project is assessed by someone with the same subject expertise as the topic is on. In terms of benefits, for a bronze, it's a great introduction to project work, to developing key skills in problem solving and individual research. For silver, it can improve GCSE grades and increase interest in continuing in STEM education, and that is evidenced by an evaluation report that we have. And for gold, it can help enhance UCAS personal statements and is well regarded by employers. For bronze, silver and gold, CREST projects are assessed by our 15 CREST criteria. So in order to achieve a CREST award, students must meet at least 11 of the 15 criteria to achieve an award. Now, we provide a student profile form to help guide them in evidencing and reflecting on the work that they've done to show that they've met these criteria. And for the bronze award, that is also done in the workbook. There are different levels and details required for each of these award levels, but we do have guidance available on our website for what is expected at each of these award levels. As for all our other resources, in our resource library, we have project ideas for bronze, silver and gold. But again, we would encourage young people to explore things that they are interested in and come up with a project title that really kind of captures their enthusiasm, and as educators try and support them to do that research. We have 4 main types of project, although there can be crossover between these types of projects. And this is where we can have a bit of cross-curricular work going on. You could do a traditional practical investigation, like a scientific experiment where you have a hypothesis and methodology and you would produce a scientific report. You could do a design and make, so you get that nice crossover with design and technology or engineering or product design, where actually a young person could design and build a prototype for something. They could do a traditional sort of literature type review where they're researching existing research and perhaps packaging that in some way. Or they could do a communication project. So examples of that, we've had podcasts, radio programs, posters for young people, and even exhibits for science museums. Okay, so having had a bit of a kind of speedy introduction to why you should do CREST and the different award levels, I think this is a really nice opportunity for me to pause and to hand over to Rebecca to put some of this stuff into context. So I'm going to invite Rebecca to tell us a little bit about herself and her background, and also some of the CREST projects that she has undertaken. So Rebecca.
Super, thank you, Ruth. So, yeah, the thing that I won was the Career Development Institute Award in 2024 for the Best Pre-16 Careers Programme. And this was a STEM programme that I ran at Nottingham High School at the Infant and Junior School. And it started off with our Year 6 students and the knowledge that once they'd done their SATs tests in the summer term, they would have plenty of free time and we'd be able to really inspire them to be interested in science. So we were allowed to have all of their science classroom time, which meant that we could consider doing the bronze level of award because we had 10 hours to spend with them. We did an hour each week with them. No, we didn't. We did an hour each time we met, and that was twice a week. So we finished it in the half term, the last half term of the summer. And it was a really, really amazing opportunity for the students to meet people from industry, to understand and research about STEM topics that they probably didn't know much about. They might have heard the words, but it was very, very much off syllabus and based on what myself and my colleague thought was fun and would be interesting. And that's the really nice thing about CREST. It's completely flexible and you can twist it to your own ends. I'm just looking at all the things. I'm going to be talking entirely out of sequence to the slides. So my background, a bit like Amanda, who's written in the chat, I have done plenty of other jobs and then come to teaching later. So I am really interested in that journey that students make from being sat in a classroom, learning about things that are quite abstract often, and how can we make that seem real to them and how can we bring it to life. And so if you have any contacts out in industry or you've worked in industry yourself, it's a really good starting point and a really good springboard to start doing this. With these Year 6 students, the first thing that we did, we had a connection with a sports technology firm. And so we decided that the students could probably do a bit of research into how technology is used in sport and come up with some ideas themselves. We got the students to research what's out there already. We got them to think about what was good and bad about what was out there and to see whether they could come up with any ideas that either nobody'd thought of or that were better than what was out there. And they built prototypes using lots of sellotape and cardboard. Some of them used Lego, some of them used all sorts of things, plasticine and all sorts. I mean, it was very sweet. And we got the other thing that I really wanted to do with the students in Year 6 was I wanted to make sure that they had tech skills that were appropriate to go into secondary school with. So I made sure that we did our research online. I made sure that we uploaded to our Google Classroom the template for the slides that we wanted them to make. So they had a heading for each slide and they had to fill in the information on each slide after they'd done their research. And then at the end of it all, because we were going out to present our work to the people at the company, we had to transfer all of our Google slides into PowerPoints so that we could use them at the other firm. So it was a real tech blitz for the students, as well as learning about technology and sport and being inspired by STEM. And I think we've put it on the next slide, but one of my favorite things from running that very first project was the student who our lovely people at the sports tech firm voted as having the best idea. She was a student who was pretty unconfident, didn't feel that she was good at school. And she came out with the most innovative, most creative idea that nobody else had thought of. And she came up with a robot that was a cheerleader. And so it really stood out. And she was completely, she made the most gorgeous prototype of it. And it was just lovely. And for us to be able to celebrate a student who was routinely not celebrated in school and who often felt that she was doing things wrong and wasn't good at her STEM and maths subjects, to me, that was just beautiful. And that's the reason that we do all these things. So that got us started, really, and it became so popular that over 3 years, every term we ran a new project with different year group. So our Year 6s did the big long projects and they got the Bronze CREST Awards, but we also then opened the STEM Club up. We ran projects with Year 5, we ran projects with Year 4, we ran whole STEM days where we got multiple people in and did a carousel of workshops with the students. But we started small. We started with just one thing and one idea, and it grew from there. So yeah, pick something you think you can do and try it out. And I'm pretty sure the students will make it work, and you'll be inundated with requests to join your STEM club. So I think, yeah, that's gives you a bit of a flavor. I think maybe another thing to say, so now that I'm sitting on the other side of the fence and trying to assess these bigger STEM projects, the 30-hour silver ones and the 70-hour gold ones, it's fascinating to see the extraordinary level of detail and research that some of these gold award students are doing. Really, really impressive, and absolutely, things that if they get interviewed for top universities, they will be able to talk about and sound incredibly knowledgeable, enthusiastic about. The flip side of that is, for me, sat in the classroom, and in my last job at Nottingham High School, I wasn't a classroom teacher, I was the head of careers. So I was trying always to get the students to think about, if they had an idea of a career in mind, what could they do now at school to prove to somebody that they were quite interested in it and they'd done a bit of research. And so I would recommend CREST Silver and Gold regularly. But I have to say, the number of students who can find that motivation and the time to do a totally independent project is very small. And so if you have got students who you can see are really high achievers and really want to stand out, this is absolutely a good way of doing it. And as Ruth said at the beginning, the universities are aware of these. They often run the CREST Gold Awards as part of their 2-week summer placement projects. If you've got students going out with the Sutton Trust on projects and things, you'll be aware of that. So it's really good. And just, yeah, pick something, get started, and go from there.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm really pleased that Rebecca has joined us this afternoon, because she has such a breadth of experience and she'll be able to answer some questions that you have. So having run the Discovery Award level and the bronze level, and now being an assessor at the silver and gold level, if you've got any kind of practical questions that you would like to ask her, then you can pop them in the chat, or you can wait until the end and we'll bring them up then. But I think one of the things that really stood out for me, Rebecca, when you were talking, is that idea about harnessing what the young people are interested in. And actually, CREST Awards are a really good framework for that. And you end up in this lovely feedback loop where the young people have ownership over their projects, because they've kind of helped choose what they're going to do. And because of that, they're really invested in what they're doing. And I appreciate it's hard if you are delivering a curriculum and you feel quite fixed with that curriculum. But actually, even if you gave your young people a choice of an activity, if you knew, oh, I know I'm only going to be able to run these 3 things, if you give your young people a choice, again, you'll be kind of harnessing their interest in that subject and hopefully helping them kind of capture their curiosity. So Rebecca, thank you very much for those inputs. I'm really grateful. And do pop a question for Rebecca in the chat if you have one.
Just quickly, Ruth, one thing you and I spoke about yesterday that I forgot to say is that because there's becoming a greater focus on careers through all subjects, being able to say to any inspector that's coming into your school, oh yes, here's what we do, and look, all the students through my lessons have achieved a CREST Discovery or bronze or whatever, actually is a fantastic way of evidencing the careers work that you're doing.
Thank you for that. And I've got some slides later on with just some, if you're looking for leverage with your senior leadership team, I've got some slides later on that hopefully can help you do that. So what was great about having Rebecca is she was able to put some projects in context. But if you would like to see some more examples, we do post on our website news and case studies of kind of projects that are really interesting, and we really think can kind of share kind of good practice for anyone looking to run their own CREST Awards. So, for example, we have got a Bronze Award case study that you can go away and read about, that is about exploring reproductive health with a CREST Award. We have got a story all about George, who goes to a school for students with special educational needs. And they were doing a project on kind of dipping biscuits into tea. And George basically decided that he didn't want to dip the biscuits into tea. So he decided to build a machine to actually do the dipping for him. And through his project, George achieved a silver award and actually ended up going to Parliament to kind of talk about his example, which is really exciting for him and his school. And then we also have Toby, who both achieved a Gold CREST Award himself and has come back as a sort of mentor for young people doing Bronze Award and Discovery Award levels. And he has done a case study with a member of staff from the British Science Association talking about having a CREST Award can help boost your UCAS applications. So please do go away and have a look at these other case studies on our website. I'll maybe pop some links in a moment into the chat, but we've got a whole selection of news and case studies where you can read about other example projects. Just wanted to highlight another student. So this is Richard. He completed his Gold CREST Award on the link between nutrition and mental health. And I think one of the things that Rebecca talked about letting the young people kind of go with something that they are interested in. That's exactly what Richard did. He chose a topic that was of interest to him. So he'd kind of seen a lot of people go through issues with mental health, and it made him curious. He was really good at making the most of the resources and the people available to him, and he really gained skills for use in the workplace. He has said that it gave him something to discuss in interviews and also was a way to show examples of skills. So where it's quite hard to evidence skills that you might have, having a CREST Award gives you that piece of evidence that you can share with someone to say, here is the evidence that I've gained these skills. Again, his blog is available to read, and when I share the slides, you'll have the links to those case studies. So I did introduce this at the beginning, the kind of why do CREST, but just now that we've been thinking about kind of careers and the kind of skills that young people might be trying to develop through the careers programs at schools, it is well respected by universities and employers. And as Rebecca says, some employers use the CREST Awards as part of their kind of their enrichment or perhaps work experience program to give them a bit of a template. It can help provide evidence and recognition of your project work skills. It can help develop key skills such as problem solving and research. It can enhance CVs and UCAS personal statements. It provides interviewers with something interesting to ask you. So it's a good opportunity to have a conversation ready to go. It can help emphasize real world context of your research. So all of our CREST projects are very much embedded in real world examples. It can help develop professional network. So perhaps you might link up with people that you can then kind of have as role models yourself. And also it can illustrate additional effort, commitment and interest, which I think Rebecca highlighted that actually, you know, there are fewer young people perhaps who have that motivation to do this themselves. And what CREST Award does is it provides evidence of that additional effort. It can also help evidence employability skills. So those are those kind of softer skills that employers are often looking for and asking for in their applications. And CREST does provide young people with an opportunity to kind of work towards lots of these skills and attributes. So it can involve collaboration and teamwork. It requires really good organisation and time management. There'll be periods where you're working on your own, or perhaps you're working in a team as well. It's full of problem solving and creativity. So the C in CREST is actually, or the CR in CREST is about creativity in science and technology. There are opportunities for decision making, for research and analytical science skills as well. Rebecca, you were telling me yesterday about a student who did a CREST Award as part of their work experience. Are you able to just give a little bit of context to that story as well for me, please?
Yes. So this is a link going back to my comment about just use your network. So my husband works at Rolls-Royce. He and some friends had agreed to take some students on work experience and were then panicking that they had to amuse them for a week and didn't know what to do. Well, they had lots of ideas, but how could you make something structured that was going to keep the students inspired and give them something to aim for? And so they had a look at the CREST Gold option. And one of the students, since doing this work experience in the summer, has managed to complete and get a really lovely report back from the British Science Association saying what a fantastic gold award they have earned. And so it's for the employers, often what you find if you go out and talk to people who are in industry, they're slightly terrified of working with young people because they haven't been in schools themselves and they're not really sure what's required. So the CREST program gives you a really clear, detailed description of what they're looking for, and it's an easy way, I found, of helping people who are looking at doing work experience and trying to put something back in for young people. It gives them a structure to work with, and it makes it seem manageable and doable. So it's a really good scheme from that perspective as well. And then obviously from the young person's perspective, they go off and do their work experience. So they've spent a week, maybe 35 hours or so on site. That's half your CREST Award time done. Learned lots of stuff, reflected on it. You just, as long as you've told the students to make a journal, every day while they're doing their work experience, they can then write that up at the end, talk about how their ideas have changed, how they've learned different things, and then they can go away at the end of their work experience and pick on a topic they've encountered and do that extra bit of research and analysis. And now they've got a mentor because they've worked with somebody on the work experience. They can come back and close the loop and submit their project at the end of it. So it works really, really well. And so, yeah, I'll look back to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. I think if those of you who are in a role where perhaps you are having to have those conversations with employers and they're not sure what to do with young people on placements, then as Rebecca says, a CREST Award could be a framework that they could use to help kind of plan and arrange the week for the young person that is joining them. So as well as kind of support that we have and news and case studies that we have on our CREST website, on our British Science Association website. We also have a blog on expert tips to make a UCAS personal statement stand out. So there'll be tips within there on how you can use your CREST project as part of your personal statement for your UCAS application. So that's very much thinking about the young people and the skills and the attributes that they can gain themselves through doing a CREST Award. I also just wanted to highlight role models as well, because I appreciate that if those of you are coming from a careers point of view, that actually having role models, particularly if you live in perhaps a more rural location, you don't necessarily have the role models or the employers who are able to come into school to support and showcase careers in STEM. The British Science Association has a kind of parallel programme to CREST Awards called Smashing Stereotypes. And because the British Science Association's vision is a future where science is more relevant, representative and connected to society, they have a whole kind of cohort of case studies of different people working in different STEM careers, and they have tried to share a representation of the kind of young people and for the people working in STEM, so that your young people could find a role model that is like them. So do have a look on the British Science Association Smashing Stereotypes webpage. The link is in here. And you'll find there's a huge array of different scientists working in really interesting careers. And even it could just be a way to start a conversation about, did you even know that it was possible to be a storyteller who works in STEM, for example? So do go away and have a look at those if you're looking for role models or case to help showcase careers in STEM. So for you, if you decide to start delivering CREST, I just want to take a moment to highlight the kind of help and support that is available for you to get started. From the CREST team, we have an inbox that is monitored daily. So if you have any questions, big or small, that you would like to ask us, please do email us at that inbox. On our website, we have a help centre which has frequently asked questions, but also has a whole series and suite of help centre articles. There is a search function within the help centre, so you could just type in something like careers or gold or bronze, and you'll get a whole series of articles to help you with your CREST Award applications. Obviously, we have our free resources. So in our resource library, we have primary and secondary resources, and we have filters on there so you can start to search for particular subject areas, or if you need resources for SEND students, you can use those filters to help you narrow down your choice. And we also have a YouTube channel with video support. So for example, webinars like this, previous webinars will be edited and will be popped up onto that YouTube channel that you could watch in your own time. If you do have young people that you're supporting with SEND, we are trying to build our support package for young people with SEND. So we have some web pages dedicated to that. And in our resource library, we have kind of filters within there so you could find some SEND-friendly resources. I also want to point out about our Engage community. So Engage is a community of teachers working in schools in challenging circumstances who want to transform access to relevant and meaningful science work for all children and young people, especially those who are most often underrepresented in STEM. So it is run by the British Science Association and managed through the CREST Award programme. The aims of that are to provide support to the community, to connect educators with each other who are working in similar circumstances, and to share and amplify good practice and knowledge across the community. There is funding available through this community. Our applications are open until, I think it's Tuesday, 5 p.m. You do have to be eligible to join this community, so there are eligibility criteria for your school, but please do have a look at the webpage and have a look at the eligibility criteria. If you are able to join, please do join the community, and you are welcome to apply for funding if you are eligible. That funding can go towards CREST Awards and also resources to help you run your CREST activities. We do a series of support webinars like this one. We are coming to the end of our current suite of support webinars. We've started with the new academic year. We do have a weekly drop-in every Wednesday from 4 to 4:20 p.m. where if you want to talk to somebody face to face, you can come along and just join the meeting, and there'll be a member of the CREST team between 4 o'clock and 4:20 ready to answer any of your questions. And we are running one more webinar this autumn term on Tuesday called Empowering Educators with CREST. And that is primarily focused on kind of new or trainee teachers to help kind of give them some confidence of some easy CREST activities they could pick up and run with, and telling them a little bit about the CREST Awards programs. And that is suitable for primary and secondary teachers. All our webinars, as you know, are free and they're open to educators or STEM leaders, parents, or students themselves. In terms of other support, if you need other support to try and deliver CREST Awards in your school, there is the STEM Ambassador Programme. If you're not aware of that already, that is run by an organisation called STEM Learning. And experts and professional subject specialists who want to work with young people and support them in their STEM subjects sign up to be STEM ambassadors, and they are available to provide support to schools in a myriad of ways for free. It may be, if they are local to you, they are able to come into your school and perhaps support you with an event that you are delivering. Or it may be that they are able to provide kind of online mentoring support, for example, for older students who are doing their gold or silver projects. You do need to register with that programme, but do have a look at that if you think a STEM ambassador can help you with any of your STEM engagement programmes. If you're looking to get senior leadership support for running CREST Awards in your school, it can help you meet the Gatsby benchmarks 4 and 5. As we've said throughout this presentation, it's really beneficial for helping to boost young people's CVs and UCAS applications. It will be recognised by Ofsted, and as evidenced in our evaluation reports, it can help improve grades and science uptake beyond GCSEs.